Ever feel like life is more than just random events? Like there's a hidden pattern threading through every moment, every choice, every breath? What if I told you that pattern is made of numbers? Not the boring math class kind, but ancient, mystical symbols, vibrations that hold the key to reality itself. Pythagoras, the legendary philosopher-mathematician, didn't just play with triangles, he cracked a universal code. He believed that everything in the universe, stars, music, your thoughts, was built on number, not as a unit of measurement, but as a divine language. The universe wasn't speaking in words, it was humming in math. And here's the kicker. Pythagoras didn't just theorize this, he lived it. He created a secret brotherhood that worshipped numbers like gods. They saw geometry as sacred, numbers as alive, and music as medicine for the soul. So buckle up. You're about to embark on a journey through the most ancient and forbidden knowledge ever conceived, one that shows you how numbers aren't just tools, they're the very source code of existence. By the end of this video, you'll never look at a simple 3 or 4 the same way again. Let's unlock the matrix. The Pythagorean way. Pythagoras, the philosopher who heard the universe sing. Let's clear something up right now. Pythagoras wasn't just some guy who invented the triangle formula. Nah, he was on a whole different level. This man wasn't interested in building school curriculums. He was chasing the truth behind the universe, something ancient, sacred, and beyond what most people could comprehend. Born around 570 BCE, Pythagoras traveled far and wide: Egypt, Babylon, India, learning from mystics, mathematicians, priests, and sages. What he returned with was not just knowledge, but revelation. He founded a school in southern Italy that functioned like a mystery cult. You didn't just enroll, you got initiated. And the first rule? Reverence for numbers. For Pythagoras, math wasn't a subject. It was a sacred path. He believed that numbers were divine beings in themselves. They weren't invented. They were discovered eternal truths woven into the fabric of the universe. He didn't just hear music. He believed the planets made music as they moved. He called it the music of the spheres, and only the soul could hear it. This wasn't science versus spirituality. To him, they were the same thing. Understanding the math was understanding God. Pythagoras wasn't just unlocking equations, he was unlocking the cosmos itself. Everything is number, literally. All is number. Sounds simple, right? But hidden in those 3 words is a profound secret. Pythagoras wasn't just saying numbers are important, he was saying they're everything. Literally, he saw numbers as the skeleton of reality, the invisible framework holding all things together. Look around you. That tree, those clouds, your own heartbeat, every single one of them follows patterns, cycles, proportions, rhythms. And those patterns are expressed through numbers. They're not just labels for how much of something exists. They describe what it is, why it is, and how it interacts with everything else. Think about it. The structure of a snowflake, the orbit of planets, the way your DNA coils, the sound frequencies that make music, they all follow mathematical patterns. Coincidence? Not to Pythagoras. To him, that was divine evidence that numbers were the blueprint of the universe. And here's where it gets wild. He believed that by studying these numerical patterns, we could understand not just the material world, but the soul itself. Numbers weren't just the language of science. They were the language of the divine. To know a number was to touch the infinite. That's how deep this goes. Sacred geometry, the language of the divine. Okay, so numbers are the foundation, but how do they manifest in the real world? Through shape, through form, through what we now call sacred geometry. This isn't just drawing pretty patterns with a compass. It's about uncovering the actual architecture of reality. Pythagoras and his students were obsessed with geometric shaped circles, triangles, squares, not because they looked nice, but because they revealed hidden truths. A circle wasn't just a loop, it represented unity, wholeness, eternity. A triangle showed balance, strength, and harmony. These weren't just shapes. They were symbols, keys to decode the divine blueprint. Everywhere in nature you'll find geometry at work. Spiral galaxies, pine cones, honeycombs, seashells, hurricanes, even your own face. These aren't artistic accidents. They're evidence of a deeper intelligence at work. The golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence, symmetry, these are all fingerprints of that cosmic intelligence. To Pythagoras, the study of geometry wasn't academic. It was spiritual. Each shape carried vibration. Each vibration carried meaning. And that meaning? It pointed back to one truth. Everything is designed. Everything is connected, and numbers are the thread weaving it all together. Geometry, in his world, was the language of God, the mystical meaning of numbers 1 to 4. Let's break down the sacred meanings behind the first 4 numbers, because to Pythagoras, these weren't just digits. They were cosmic forces, each one a stage in the unfolding of reality. Number 1, the monad. This is the origin, the beginning of everything. 1 isn't just the first number, it's the only number that truly exists. All other numbers are born from it. 1 represents unity, wholeness, the divine. In spiritual terms, it's the source God, the universe, the unmanifest. It's symbolized by a point, something that exists yet has no dimension. Everything emerges from this stillness, this infinite potential. Number 2, the dyad. The moment something separates from 1, we get 2 duality. Opposites, male and female, light and dark, good and evil. It's the number of contrast and conflict, but it's also the number that makes choice possible. Without 2, there's no experience, no movement, no life. Number 3, the triad. Here comes the bridge. 3 brings harmony to the conflict between opposites. It's the number of synthesis, balance, and unity at a higher level. Think of it as a triangle, strong, stable, complete. 3 is past, present, future, body, mind, soul. Number 4, the tetrad. With 4, the abstract becomes physical. It's earth. It's structure. The 4 seasons, the 4 directions, the 4 elements. This is where the divine blueprint manifests in form. Together, these 4 numbers build the universe. Numbers as divine tools. To the Pythagoreans, numbers weren't cold, lifeless symbols. They were alive. They had personalities, vibrations, even emotions. They weren't just about the divine, they were the divine. They believed numbers were the tools the Creator used to design everything from galaxies to grains of sand. Let's be honest, this view flips everything you've ever learned about math on its head, right? In school, we're taught to crunch numbers, solve problems, and move on. But what if numbers were never meant to be solved? What if they were meant to be experienced? Pythagoras taught that numbers revealed truths that words could never express. 1 revealed unity. 2 revealed polarity. 3 revealed harmony. 4 revealed creation. Each one held a vibration, a frequency that echoed through the cosmos. This idea isn't as far out as it sounds. Modern science confirms that everything, yes, everything is energy vibrating at specific frequencies. And what is vibration if not rhythm? And what is rhythm if not number? To the initiated, numbers are sacred symbols. They're the fingerprints of God, tools, not for manipulating the world, but for understanding it, aligning with it, and ultimately transcending it. Numbers don't just describe the universe, they unlock it. The music of the spheres. Now prepare yourself, because this next idea is both mind-blowing and heart-stirring. Pythagoras believed that the planets, as they orbited the sun, produced a kind of cosmic music. He called it the music of the spheres. Not music like what you hear on Spotify. This was a higher, inaudible harmony. The kind you feel in your soul, Each planet, he said, vibrated at a unique frequency. Together, they formed a cosmic symphony, a divine orchestra playing the song of existence. And although our physical ears can't hear it, our spirits can. It's the music behind reality itself, the background frequency of the universe. This wasn't just poetic. Pythagoras even linked musical notes to mathematical ratios. He discovered that harmonious sounds like octaves and fifths corresponded to simple numerical ratios like 1, 2, and 2, 3. He realized that harmony in music was just another reflection of harmony in numbers. This is where spirituality and science become one. He wasn't separating them, he was merging them. For him, understanding music meant understanding math. And understanding math meant understanding God. Imagine every moment, every breath you take, every heartbeat is echoing with this silent song. The more you align with it, the more peace, clarity, and harmony you invite into your life. Healing through harmony. Now imagine this. What if every illness, every pain, every imbalance in your body was just a sign that you've fallen out of tune with the universe? That's exactly what Pythagoras believed. He didn't treat illness as a purely physical issue. He saw it as a cosmic misalignment. If the body is made of vibrations, and those vibrations are based on numbers, then sickness is simply a dissonance in the music of your being. So how do you heal? You retune. You find the right frequencies, and one of the most powerful tools for that. Pythagoras used sound therapy long before it became a wellness trend. He believed that certain musical tones could realign your inner chaos with the harmony of the cosmos. And when that happened, healing wasn't just possible, it was inevitable. He would prescribe specific modes, rhythms, and melodies to different types of emotional and physical issues. This was medicine for the soul, powered by numbers. He saw music as the divine recalibration tool, capable of bringing people back to their true, harmonious state. For him, healing wasn't about suppressing symptoms. It was about restoring your connection to the cosmic order. True health was simply being in tune. Numbers, patterns, and the code of creation. Look closely at a sunflower. Notice how the seeds spiral inward in perfect symmetry. That's not just a pretty coincidence, it's mathematics in motion. The spiral follows the Fibonacci sequence, a series of numbers where each number is the sum of the two before it. This pattern appears in pine cones, hurricanes, galaxies, even the shape of your DNA. To Pythagoras, these patterns weren't random. They were proof that the universe runs on a code, a divine code written in numbers. Every leaf, every heartbeat, every echo in a canyon is whispering this numerical language. The ancient Greeks didn't see math as cold or mechanical, they saw it as sacred. These patterns told a story. And just like a fingerprint can identify a person, these patterns identified the creator. The golden ratio, 1.618, which shows up in art, architecture, nature, and the human body, wasn't just aesthetically pleasing, it was spiritually meaningful. It was evidence of divine design. Pythagoras believed that if you could recognize these patterns and decode their numerical foundation, you could begin to understand the mind of the cosmos. Not in theory, but in experience. You wouldn't just know creation. You'd feel it living, breathing, pulsing through everything, including you. From chaos to cosmos. Let's talk about the ultimate transformation: chaos into cosmos. The Greeks understood cosmos as more than just space. It meant order, harmony, beauty, a structure that made sense. The opposite of cosmos, chaos. Not just disorder, but a raw, undivided, unknowable state. Pythagoras believed that everything started in chaos, a kind of divine soup where nothing was separate, nothing was defined. But then boom, with the emergence of numbers, everything changed. Structure appeared, form arose, light separated from darkness, And what allowed that to happen? Number. To him, numbers were the tools the universe used to shape itself, like a divine architect drawing blueprints of existence. Every galaxy, every atom, every thought was brought out of chaos and into form by the power of numbers. Even your life follows this path. When you feel confused, broken, or lost, you're in chaos. But by seeking order, by aligning with the rhythm of creation, you step into cosmos. You find your place. You find peace. Pythagoras wasn't offering just theory. He offered a map, a way to move from confusion to clarity, from noise to music, from chaos to cosmos, all through the sacred structure of number. Here's the mind-bending truth. Everything you've just heard, every sacred secret Pythagoras discovered, it's hiding in plain sight. In the numbers you see on a clock, in the geometry of a leaf, in the rhythm of your own breathing. The universe doesn't scream its truth. It whispers in codes. And those codes are numbers, not just abstract quantities, but sacred symbols packed with power. Numbers don't lie. They guide. They reveal. They open doors. This is why Pythagoras and his followers treated numbers with reverence. To them, math wasn't mundane. It was magical. It wasn't about solving for X. It was about solving yourself, your place in the cosmos, your relationship with the divine. And what makes this secret forbidden? It's not because it's hidden. It's because we've forgotten how to see. We've been trained to look at numbers with Bordeaux, when in fact they are glowing with divine fire. So next time you see the number 1, remember unity. When you see 2, see contrast. When you feel harmony, know 3 is present. And when you build something lasting, 4 is guiding you. Pythagoras unlocked the universe. The key is still in your hands.